Hey everybody, this is Billy at Be Tough Man. I'm here with Gabe and Uncle Roy, right? Is that right? Uncle Roy. Uncle Roy is working on the upholstery here. We're gonna do a seat skin replacement. Now we touched on that a while back and a lot of people still had questions because we talked about removal of it. But today, not only are we gonna do a removal, but we're gonna do a reinstall. And we want this to kind of be a instruction manual for you. Of course, for you people that do know, Gabe's Custom Marine here in Atwater, California, they are a top tier upholstery place for especially wake surf boats, wakeboard boats. Gabe Sr. worked at Malibu for a lot of years. And when you leave here, it looks as good as factory, sometimes better. So we're gonna get into it. Roy here is gonna start taking this thing apart and then we'll just do the instructions on how to do it. What do you think?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so show us what we're doing first. So this would be one here. First of all, I want to show people why I'm replacing. Gabe, we talked about this. I'm one of your most, I don't want to say picky, but I'm a perfectionist, right? Yeah. I'm replacing this because of this. Now, most people would let that ride, right? Most people would say, like, that's no big deal, but I can't do it, right? So I'm here replacing something that most people would not replace. But one thing you said that's interesting, and this is true, that if you fix things along the way, you're not stuck with this huge thing, this huge project down the road.
Exactly. You know, you can get some things going throughout the year, keep your boat looking nice the whole time, and then you don't have to bring it in for a full-on restoration.
Right. Okay. All right, Roy, we're going to send it to you. What are we doing here?
We're going to start pulling staples right now.
Yeah.
Taking it apart.
Where can you get this tool? Is this a common tool or no?
It's pretty common. You can buy one of these on Amazon. They probably run you about 16 bucks. It's called, I think the most popular brand is Osborne.
Osborne. It's a staple remover, right?
Yes.
Simple staple remover. And they seem like they pop out pretty easy, right? Once you get them going.
Yeah, when you're pulling staples out of plastic, it's not as hard as, let's say, sometimes wood. Sometimes when you're dealing with wood, it likes to hold them staples, and then sometimes it actually will rust, and then you're pulling staples and they're breaking. So now you're doing double work. Broken staples, have to go back and pull them out with some wire cutters.
Now there was a trim piece on here, but that comes off real easy, right?
Yeah.
You just start it and it just yanks all the way out. It takes the staples with it.
Yeah.
Now when you put staples back in, I'm gonna assume that you want to use stainless, right?
Yeah. So this is a pretty common question I get. So this is the brand that we like to use, and the main thing is that you use stainless steel.
Okay, there's the part number on it.
Yeah.
So you can see right there.
I also get a lot of questions as far as, you know, what staple gun to use. These are the type that we use, and these are, you know, they're going to cost you a lot of money if you try and buy one of these. You can probably go to Harbor Freight, Lowe's, and pick up something that you can just use to complete the job, and, you know, it won't break the bank.
Yeah, I've used some staple guns. They look similar. They're probably not as good as that industrial one, but like you said, they have them at Harbor Freight. They're like 50 bucks,
Yeah.
and they work pretty darn good for what they are. Yeah.
I mean, if you use it repeatedly, you want one of those.
Yeah. If it's your job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Looks like we got all the staples off. Right. There's a lot of them. How do you know if this is still good, the cushion? Is there a way to tell on that?
Usually, you know, if it's in your boat and you can sit on it, you put your knee on the foam. If you just straight go down to the plastic base and you feel it go hard, it's probably time for some new foam.
Okay.
You know, this is in pretty good condition to where we're going to steam it up and it's going to puff everything up, put a little bit of life back into it, which that's another question I get pretty often. How can I reuse the foam, or do I have to replace it? Well, if it can be steamed up and brought back to life,
Yeah.
then you know, go ahead and reuse
So what did
it.
we do there? We just let me
just
show you what
cut
we
the
did.
bottom?
So you get a blade here, right? Just a blade, and this has a little bit of glue on the outside. So it usually doesn't have glue right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna have glue on the outside that you're gonna have to cut off from here to here, and this piece right here will come right out, right?
Yep.
Okay. So now you have
More staples.
More staples. Okay.
Yeah. So this is
It's a different tool.
This is called the pull tab.
Okay.
This piece of vinyl right here. So this is just what holds your bead down and tight across the center of the fishing.
Oh, okay. Probably use a flathead screwdriver on this, right?
Yeah, you
Wouldn't
could.
use-
Sometimes you can just pull them right out. You
Okay.
know, but
Roy, how many cushions do you think you've done in your lifetime? Hundreds?
Yes. More.
yeah, he's been in the game.
I've been doing this since
just as long as my dad, pretty much.
Whoa.
so.
Now this doesn't come off.
No,
That stays on there. Okay. And you don't have to worry about getting this. Does that have to be taken off?
No. The foam's gonna cover that.
Okay. So is this steam right here? Now, a normal person's not going to be able to do this, right? I mean, unless you have to have a special tool.
Right.
That did puff that up, though. But I can even smell it, man. It smells like new vinyl. Wow. Does that actually add to the cushion of it too?
Yeah, what it's gonna do really is while we're pulling it, because you could see how it was all compressed from the vinyl before.
Yeah.
So what this is gonna do is allow us to put the vinyl on, pull it tight, and make sure that it's all full, like it's got the full look to it, without it already being compressed and us trying to put the vinyl on it and it compressing even more.
Okay, now is this a glue?
This is called silicone. This is a lubricant.
It's a lubricant. Oh, so it'll slide.
Yeah, it help the vinyl slide across the foam. And you can also use plastic. Some people will want to put plastic over their foam to keep the water from getting in, which can help. Sometimes it will, if water does get in, it'll kind of keep the water there.
All right, so now, Roy, you're bringing this over. You just put it in tight right here?
Yep. Well, let me show you real quick. This is kind of an important part. See where the bead is?
Okay.
You're going to want that to be right about there at the edge of the
It goes
foam.
right here on the corner.
Yes,
so you want the bead to be lined up with that.
Pretty much flush with this top layer of foam.
Okay.
And you're going to want it to be like that all the way across.
That way it doesn't sink in too deep, right? Because otherwise it'll be too deep, yeah.
Also notice how he's got cuts here. What that's for is so that way it relieves the stress in that pull tab, so you can stretch it from the left to the right.
Now, is that going to be pre-cut from you guys, or are they going to have to do that?
They're gonna have to.
Usually we leave it all together.
Okay.
See, so he tacked down the back, so now he can.
Now, do you glue this one on, or this one?
Yeah, usually we'll put a little bit of glue so that way it just holds in place. So that way, when you're pulling this over, you don't want to pull it and then pull this back.
Oh, okay.
You know, so keep that right at the edge. Another thing that we do is see how he stapled this down. You want that corner to just be over the edge, right about there over the foam. You don't want to pull it too tight.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you're gonna, start having a corner dip down on you.
Yeah.
And then that could also start creating gaps between your cushions.
Okay. You spray a little bit on the foam and the backing, right?
Yes.
And then you don't put very much.
No, you just need enough just to keep it in place.
And it holds pretty quick.
Yeah.
How backed up are you on skins right now? Like if someone wants
I've
to get
actually got pretty caught up to where it's usually about maybe a 4-week lead time depending on what we need to do. But it could be sooner. If it's, you know, a couple cushion skins, we can get that done. So another thing that the steam will actually help do, it's going to help loosen up this vinyl. So that way it'll stretch and go over the foam pretty nicely without leaving a bunch of wrinkles.
Okay. Now, can anybody use anything else if they don't at home?
You can use a heat gun.
A heat gun.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can use a heat gun.
Hair dryer, maybe.
Hair dryer probably won't put out enough heat. I know they sell like the
So you want to get the vinyl warmed up? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
So it'll stretch.
Yes.
Okay.
That's going to help it stretch and help reduce any wrinkles that are in the vinyl. Or a lot of times when we send these skins out, you know, we've got to fold them up in boxes. So then the vinyl creases a little bit in certain spots. So when you add heat, that's just going to allow those creases to come out easier.
So you work around the cushion rather than just hammering one side, right?
Yeah. So right now you got to line up these beads, and most cushions have this cutout right here, and that's where your bead's supposed to lay.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you about that. I was like, how are you going to line it up with the other cushions? But
Yeah.
that'll do it.
Yeah. That's how they come pre-cut from out. Now, he's doing it pretty quickly, but something you do want to be aware of is this front seam. You want this to just be over that first edge, turning around the top of the foam, and
Okay.
you want to make sure as you're going, you're keeping that straight.
Okay.
And there's a rubber thing here, so that's where you know to staple. Once you
Okay.
pass that,
Uh-huh.
you can.
What color is this? Do you know, in case anybody sees it?
This color, that's white. This is moonbeam membrane, and then the red is called Reuben. Those are all pretty much proprietary mountain colors.
Is the vinyl separated from the foam, that little pad right there, or is it coming
Yeah,
together?
so a lot of vinyl, when you buy it, you can get it either with the foam already laminated on there. We like to do it ourselves. We like to buy it separately.
Okay.
So that way there's, you know the notorious pinking or
Yeah.
redding of a lot of vinyl. You know, there's a lot of speculation that comes from either the glue that's holding the foam onto the vinyl. It might be bacteria or microbes getting in there and causing some coloration. So we just try to minimize that by not gluing the foam on, just sewing it together, leaving it loose.
Roy, I'd imagine that a lot of this is feel for you, right?
Yeah.
You can feel it. I see you're hitting it pretty good. You can feel it with your hands.
Yeah, you can feel, and something that, a lot of times we'll rub here as we're pulling the vinyl, rubbing here, because the foam pops out a little bit over the edge of that
Okay.
plastic base,
Yeah.
and you don't want to see it jutting out. You want it to be nice and smooth.
Right here?
Yes.
Yeah. How many skins are you shipping out right now, do you think, a year? How many sets?
That's hard to say. I know in the past 2 weeks we've probably sent out about like 15 boxes worth of skins.
Whoa.
And that ranges between full sets of skins to, you know, just 2-3 cushions, maybe some hatches.
How many times are people calling you after they get them, asking you questions? Does it happen?
Usually I ask on the phone whenever they're skins for us before we ship them out if they're planning on installing them themselves or taking them to a shop. And that's one big reason we're doing this video, is because I'm at least twice a day explaining how to do a cushion.
Yeah.
So, you know, I talk to a lot of people about it and try and tell them, you know, you just kind of want to center the skin on the cushion before you start. Make sure the corners are lined up before you start stapling down that pull tab, or else you're going to end up with a lopsided cushion.
A lot of times people will take new people on a boat, right?
Yeah.
That don't go around boats. Right. And you hear a lot of people say, please don't put your shoes on my upholstery, right? Don't wear bling shorts, all that stuff. Yeah. And a lot of times people don't realize like how much work goes into getting something fixed, right? Or repaired. It's a lot, man.
It is. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of, you know-how, experience. I mean, from having someone who can sew this up correctly to having someone who can install it correctly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time and a lot of labor. I know that probably the worst thing I've seen for boats is those flip-flops that have the bottle opener on the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen a bunch of fenders on trailers scratched up.
Yeah.
I've seen holes in cushions.
Really?
From that, yeah.
Wow. So remember that. Don't wear bottle cap openers, right, on a boat.
Yeah.
You know what else is actually doing some a number on some cushions is some of the new surf gates have something about the suction. They'll put the suction cup down on the upholstery and it'll leave 2 rings right on the upholstery. I don't know if you've seen that lately. I don't know if it's the oils from the thing, but yeah.
We've replaced a couple pieces that happened to. I'm not sure if it's the sun getting hot underneath it, like it turns it into a magnifying glass, or if it's like just, like you said, oils.
A lot of times, if you get light staining, the sun will fix it.
Yeah.
Just getting it out in the sun, the UV will a lot of times clear that up. I'd imagine having a new blade makes this a lot easier too, right?
It does, yeah.
You definitely want to take your time with this, right? One slip up could be a complete
be a thumb, or it could be the
it could be a thumb, or it could be a complete redo.
Yeah.
Well, you made that look easy.
Not a years.
So this is it's called hide 'em. It's supposed to go over the staples, keep everything hidden and looking good.
You supply this with your
We do.
Okay, so you'll have enough to do this on your own. Okay. And this will keep this from fraying and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You actually have that upside. Do you have? Oh, there's a little seam in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That is clean, man.
Another tip when you're putting on this item is see where he started it. It was in a straight spot in the back of the cushion.
Okay.
So you don't want to start it in the curve. So
Okay.
you want to be able to line those items up so they're equal and level with each other.
Yeah.
Where it would be really hard to do that on the curve.
Yeah.
You know?
And better towards the back, right? That way you don't see a seam.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty damn clean, dude. Right? I mean, that's factory new, it looks like. There it is. All right, so how do they get a hold of? People want to order them up. What's the turnaround? What do we do?
You can give us a call, an email, gabescustommarine.com. Our email address is gabe.upholstery@gmail.com.
Or your Facebook page, right?
Or my Facebook page. You know,
Gabe's
send me a
Custom Marine on
message.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Send your message. And then, yeah.
Usually I'll need pictures of whatever you want done, so that way I can, visually see, what you had this color with this grain, and then the whole number, so that way I can check the work order and make sure we're using the right.
You have the
material.
templates for most of the boats, or do they need to send them in? They need to.
We have templates for about 80% of the boats.
Right.
We don't have them for the newer boats and some of the very, very older boats.
Do you like to see a skin though, so you can match up everything perfect, or no?
If we got the patterns, we don't need to see the skin.
Yeah, you have the whole number.
We just need the whole number.
Really?
And pictures, yeah.
Okay, but if someone has that, like my whole number is going to be different because I had a different color.
Yeah.
So if you've had work done on it, then you probably need
Yes.
to send it in.
Yeah, send it in so that way we can match it up and make sure it's done right.
And you can, and people also can change color. You can change like I did, right? You can change colors. You can change textures. You can do.
Yeah. You can change colors as far as like there's certain color schemes that you want to stick with. And a lot of a popular thing that's done is this front band. A lot of people like to make this color the same as their bead or their accent, and it just adds a little bit more pop to the whole look of the boat.
Yeah.
We can swap out whether you want this to be like let's say you want this to be gray like this, you want this to be white, you want it a darker gray. We can swap that out.
Yeah, I love this white too because it's not shiny. It's like kind of like it's got a little bit of warm hit to it, but it's like kind of like a dull white. It's really nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really good. Well, awesome work as always. There you go. That's how to skin your cushions. All right, thanks for watching. It's Billy at PTUF.